Union Kings Highway to O'Fallon Park, and then finally a little bit of a delay approaching Tucker. For fans on the Illinois side, westbound 5570 approaching 111 most of the way to 203. That's slow, and then it's just a little heavy across the Poplar after that. Other traffic, well, on the Illinois side, you have the usual jam, eastbound 64, 157 to 159. Westbound 70 delays, 170 out past the airport. 94 Zembel area around Highway K. Westbound 64, stop-and-go pockets from Kings Highway out to Clayton Skinker. Clarkson to Topgolf is heavy, and it backs up Lake St. Louis Boulevard to 70. Southbound 270. South of 364, stop-and-go pockets to about Doherty Ferry, 44 to Gravois slow. North 170, Scudder up to Airport Road's busy. Southbound 55 heavy, Butler Hill, Merrimack Bottom, and then south of Imperial, midway down between M and Z, we had a stalled truck in the right lane, creating that delay. Next update at 5:20 from the Michaels Flooring Outlet.com Traffic Center.
The back-to-school savings bash is at St. Louis Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Get a new 2026 Ram or Jeep for up to 15% off MSRP. It's part of the Make This the Summer event. Visit stl-cdjr.com for details.
261-073. Selling price $50,185. With approved credit, excludes tax, tag, title, and license fees. Ends 8/31/26.
News, traffic, and the latest on the Redbirds. This is the Redbird Rush Hour on KMOX.
Sponsored by Busey Bank. Building community with Busey Bank. Beyond the game. And by St. Luke's Hospital. St. Louis's #1 heart hospital.
Welcome into Wednesday on Redbird Rush Hour. Matt Pauly's got the day off today. Joe Pott is with us from the KMOX studios at Busch Stadium. And, of course, I'm at the KMOX studios at KMOX.
What's shaking, Wheels?
Good to see you, Joe. How you doing, man?
You too, man. I'm doing well.
So what's going on at the ballpark today? Any vibes? Anybody? Anything? I mean, obviously, last night was about as ugly as it gets. And, you know, these last 4 games have been a couple of things, right? Basically, the last 4 games you can sum up this way. 2 heartbreakers that you lose late under terrible circumstances, and then 2 blowouts. So it's been a bit of a rough patch.
So you're telling me it's not a good sign when Pedro Pajes has a couple of pitching appearances in the same week?
No, not great.
Not what you're looking for.
Although I will say better than having to use a reliever in that scenario.
You're right. You are right, especially the way this bullpen is running a little thin.
Yeah. Although I would say, I know this will not happen because, God forbid, you know, there's an extra roster spot or something, but I think it'd be nice if you had kind of like a rule in baseball that was similar to the rule in hockey where you have the emergency goaltender who's just kind of hanging out in there and, you know, you run out of goalies. Well, we'll just bring this guy in from the stands. Let's do that. It wouldn't be bad if you had a couple like former players or maybe even like fringe minor leaguers. They could just be that guy, the extra guy that, hey, if it's the same rules, you know, the rules they have for when a position player can pitch, you could then bring in this dude and save everybody else.
Yeah. I like it. Makes perfect sense.
Let's do it. Let's go for that. The emergency goalie rule for Major League Baseball.
Yep, I like it.
And I'm gonna hold on. Let me get my phone.
Start
I'm gonna text Manfred right now.
Petition.org, I think you can set.
Dear Rob, during the negotiations this winter, can we? No, we won't do that. But you know, we start with where it was last night, and you know, Joe, this is. It's not like this is where the team wants to be. This is not like this is where we all want this to be. But we kind of all knew, right, that there were going to be some rough patches during the season. This is, you know, they build this as a continuation of a rebuild. They spent the offseason moving away from proven veteran players to bring in young guys. And by and large, all of that's been very successful. These young players they brought in have shown what you want to see from them. Some of them have arrived in the major leagues and have given us a little glimpse of what can come. But, like, this is kind of what you end up with part of the time, at least, during these rebuild-type seasons. You're not an absolute disaster. You're not going to be a 90 or 100-loss team. But there are going to be periods you're going to look like that.
Look, I said this on Sunday after that tough loss at Philly, and, again, no surprise here. You would have thought the sky was falling, right? But I said that if I would have take everything out of it, had I told you at the time they would have been right at 500 or a game or two above, you would have been fine with that because that's way better than what a lot of people were expecting or thinking this team was going to be when we talked in February. And, of course, Riley O'Brien needs to go, blah, blah, blah. I was like, okay, but he had a 0 ERA in the month of August until that game. You're just thinking that because he's a closer, he's under the bright lights.
Right. And that the hard part, and I'm not saying this is easy. This is kind of the sucky part of being a sports fan when your team is in this kind of position. because this team has provided a little bit of excitement for 4.5 months. And by the way, that's not necessarily over, but it may be. You're pretty thin on the pitching side. There aren't any big solutions there. And just using last night as an example, this is another case where a game gets away from you because Matthew Liberatore was bad. And that's happened far too often. And, I've made this case. I don't remember if I've made it with you, Joe, but with Matt and on my own, that he's not earning a spot in the rotation. Whether it means going to Memphis to get fixed up or going to the bullpen where you may be more productive, those were things that I was talking about a month ago, a month and a half ago, even 2 or 3 weeks ago. And Richard brought it up on the stream today. He said, Libby's a reliever. Can we stop with the starter experiment? Richard, my big picture. I agree with that. Right now, you don't have a choice. Right now, you do not have enough starting pitchers because 2 guys are on the injured list. And the guys in the minors aren't ready or aren't any better. Like Bryson Motts is there. He's ready, but he's been bad at Memphis. I don't know why you'd bring somebody up who's struggling at Memphis. I think this is a clear case to me where Libby is showing us that he is this year's version of what Andre Pallante was last year. Pallante stunk last year. And he had to go into the offseason, into the spring, and earn a job in the rotation. And I think that's what it's got to be for Libby going into next year based on what he's looked like this year. He has talent. He's just too inconsistent, and he makes just too many mistakes. Way too many mistakes.
It's the up and down. It absolutely is. And as you said, when it gets away, it gets away. It might be 3 good innings. It might be 4 good innings. But that 5th one's going to kill you, and you find yourself digging out of a hole the rest of the time.
Yeah. I mean, this is the point where they're at right now, guys. And again, I'll post up another one here. Jeremy's on the stream and said, I'm just saying Libby's had enough runway of the last year and a half. I agree. I mean, I'm of that position too. But right now, there's nothing to do about it. Today, there's nothing to do about it. Tomorrow is going to be a bullpen game, Joe. When's the last time the Cardinals had a bullpen game?
Yeah, they have been.
They don't do that.
They've been incredibly fortunate, incredibly lucky, if you will, that they have not been hampered by injuries to the starting staff the last few years. It's been one of the bright spots of the last couple of years, and you're right. They're in that position where they don't have a choice right now.
I mean, they have choices, but they don't make sense. Like
they don't have a better choice.
Like, there's a choice. Like, you could call up Liam Dill. Yeah, you could, but it would be stupid.
Yes.
It would not because he's not exciting. He's down there at AA killing it, man. He has been on a tear for a couple of months now. He's been one of the hottest pitchers in the minors for a couple of months. But you guys, we have to keep the bigger picture in mind, and that is, like, if you call up a player now that's not on the 40-man, forget clearing the 40-man spot. I always think teams overblow that. But if you put somebody on the 40-man now that's not there yet, and the lockout stretches into next season, that means that player can't play.
Can't play. That's exactly right.
They can't play in the minors. They can't play anywhere because they're on the 40-man. They're part of the work stoppage. Those guys that are not on the 40-man yet can still play minor league baseball even if the lockout wipes out a month or 2 or 3 or the entire season. And that's why you're not going to do anything super creative like that.
And you want that ability, because how many people are we still talking about that maybe didn't get their minor league season in 2020, right? When they condensed so much and when we were fighting COVID and all of that, there were so many players that their development was hampered because they lost out on that minor league season.
Yeah.
And you can't afford to do that to your guys right now.
No. And not especially not for what might end up being a short-term thing anyway, right?
Oh,
and
for
by
sure.
the way, keep in mind, like, Quinn Matthews was killing it at Memphis. Absolutely killing it for 2 months? And yeah, he had a slow start to the year, but he got better as it went, and for the last couple of months was killing it. Well, he's struggling too. That doesn't mean any of those guys that are pitching well down there would come up here and be any better than what we're seeing. So there are a lot of reasons why I was an advocate for making the move with Libby when you had those options. You don't have those options at the moment. You might, I guess, if both Dobbins and Pallante get healthy. And if that happens in a week or 2 or 3, okay, maybe we can revisit that conversation. Today, it's just not even a conversation.
Yep, you're right.
Yeah, and that's just where we stand right now. So this team is in a bad spot. This is one of the low points of the year because you've had a couple of ugly losses and then a couple of frustrating ones where leads were blown, in the final inning on Sunday, and of course the game in Philly that got away late because you didn't have your leverage guys, and you didn't have your leverage guys because they had to pitch too much in the 5 games against Cincinnati. So, this is just a tough time to work your way through. And we all understand that. I get it. It's frustrating for everybody to watch, but if you have the perspective of, okay, it's year 2 of what we're going to call a rebuild. They didn't call it that last year, but last year really was year 1 of the rebuild. They didn't like it. They didn't want to hear it, but it's what it was. And this is just a continuation of it. But when you think about the good things that you're learning about players, and by the way, even eliminating players ends up being a good thing because you know what not to count on for next year. You can move on. Or what you need to fix up. So that's kind of where we are now as far as what we've learned. There's still more to learn, and there's still competition to be had, man. I mean, I want the players to play like they're in it, you know?
And I think they will, and I think that we've seen that is what's going to happen, and I completely agree with you that there are so many things, the things that we were laid out, that we were told going into February, going into spring training, were continue to improve the development, continue to improve the minor league system. Well, look at what's happened on that front. I mean, they have absolutely paid off by all accounts. The deals that were made, the pieces that came back here. This is a farm system that is worlds better than even a year ago, Kevin.
Yeah. Oh, my God. I mean, it was middling at best last year, and it's now top 2 based on almost every one of those things. In fact, to put a little bit more fun into this show, Joe, how about we do this? We'll take a quick break. When we come back, to have a little bit more fun, let's talk about Rainel Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Because he is an absolute monster, and here's the tease on this. I'm not sure we've seen anybody perform like this in the Cardinal system since Albert. He's having an Albert-like season, and I'm going to lay that out, and then obviously we'll talk a bit about something fun.
I like it.
So we'll get into that. We obviously have more on tonight's game. By the way, we will be done at 5:45 tonight, 5:50 for the pregame with Joe Pott in for Matt Pauley today, 6:45 for the first pitch. We'll pick it back up, though, and have a little fun talking about one of the best hitters in the minors, maybe the best hitter in all of the minors, maybe the best hitter that isn't in the majors in the world. All right, maybe that's a bit much. We'll talk about Rainel Rodriguez a bit when we come back here on KMOX.
This is the take care of my family goal. This is the enjoy the life I've built goal. This is the set up a foundation goal. This is Busey, where your goals become lasting legacies. Through bespoke plans that maximize your wealth, through partnerships that give you peace of mind. Because building wealth, tending to it, and passing it down secures a brighter future. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth since 1868. Member FDIC.
Hi, I'm Mark Cantor. The people around here are hardworking people, just like you. And when someone in your family gets hurt in a car wreck, everything can change very fast. That's why having a local lawyer matters. At Cantor Injury Law, we know these towns, these roads, and the people who drive them every day. When you call us, you're calling a local team with boots on the ground, ready to fight for you. You can count on Cantor.
CantorInjuryLaw.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
Someone had a birthday.
Yep, 50. Can't believe it.
50 years of wisdom.
Great segue. We have a health reminder from the CDC.
Pneumococcal vaccination is recommended for adults 50 or older. Says here, we're over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50.
I don't love those odds.
Same. Look what I found. Pfizer's Prevnar 20 is proven to help protect adults against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease in just 1 dose, and millions have already gotten it.
Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you have a severe allergy to its ingredients. A weakened immune system may lower your response. Common side effects include injection site pain and swelling, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138. Visit Prevnar20.com or talk to your doctor or pharmacist.
I'm on Prevnar20.com now, scheduling my appointment.
Good idea. And happy 50th.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, you're not alone. Most importantly, you don't have to live with it. Paramount Men's Medical Center restores men's sex lives in just 1 visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, even when Viagra and Cialis don't work. Here's Dr. Simovitz, specialist in men's health.
Paramount Men's Medical Center's painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. 98% of patients see instant results right in the office.
Men are now lasting longer than they ever imagined. And the best part, at Paramount Men's Medical Center, your consultation and first treatment are free. Qualified patients even get their testosterone checked free. Call 314-720-8444. 314-720-8444. Take control of your sex life. Call now. 314-720-8444.
Traffic from the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
Well, game day traffic is sponsored by the all-new St. Louis Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, your friends in the car business. Eastbound 70 drivers, you got traffic heavy both ways on 70 between the Blanchette and 270, but if you're coming in for the ball game, you can expect that. And then a couple of pockets from about Shreve and through Tucker. 44 downtown, westbound through the bridges is slow. Eastbound 64 is still heavy, east of Mason to 270, and it's bogged down from Spady all the way into Big Bend. South 170, that's a solid jam, south 170. Olive down to 64. And Illinois fans, westbound 5570 delays, east of 111 midway into 203. Other delays, while eastbound 64, of course, is still backed up 157 to 159. Westbound 70, slow at the airport, 94 to Zumbell. After that, it's not so bad. Northbound 79, Salt River up to North Main Street is slow. Westbound 64 backs up approaching Kings Highway out through McCausland. Clarkson to Topgolf is heavy, and then backed up Lake St. Louis Boulevard out to 70. South 270 approaching Olive all the way down through 44 to Gravois. There's busy pockets. Southbound 55, Butler Hill, Merrimack, bottom to slow, and then there's, again, a few slowdowns from M down to about McNutt. I'm Roger Brand in the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
The back-to-school savings bash is at St. Louis Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Get a new 2026 Ram or Jeep for up to 15% off MSRP. It's part of the Make This the Summer event. Visit STL-CDJR.com for details.
For 261073, selling price $50,185 with approved credit, excludes tax, tag, title, and license fees. Ends 8/31/26.
Now, back to the Redbird Rush Hour on KMOX.
Sponsored by Busey Bank. Building community with Busey Bank. Beyond the game.
Wednesday night on Redbird Rush Hour, Cardinals and Orioles coming your way in a little bit. It'll be Michael McGreevy for the Cardinals, and boy, they need him to have a good outing today because, yeah, the bullpen got taxed yesterday, but it looks like tomorrow's plan is a bullpen day. So I wish them luck, and hopefully today goes well for Michael McGreevy. He'll be going up against Kyle Bradish, 6:45 there, 5:50 for the pregame. All right, Joe, so these last handful of days have not been fun, as we outlined. Last night in particular was pretty awful. As a, just a baseball fan, it was not a fun game. It was rough to watch. Let's talk about something a little more fun. Now, let's talk about Rainel Rodriguez, who is very much one of the very best young players in all of minor league baseball. And I would suspect that the way this is going, he may be a top 5 or 10 prospect come spring training next year. Like when these typically get updated like January, like the new season's top 100s. I think he's going to be a top 5 or 10 in a lot of places. And here's why. So if you haven't seen this, one of the reasons I'm bringing up Rainel Rodriguez is he's super hot right now. Over the last month, okay, since July 25th, so this is a month, he's hitting almost 500. 472 for an entire month with 10 home runs. That's insanity. That's just the hot streak, right? Well, I mean, just a hot streak. It's a month of just crushing baseballs every day. He's got back-to-back 2 home run games as we speak. He had 2 yesterday. He had 2 the day before that. But what's crazier is when you zoom out and look at the best similar seasons as minor leaguers at similar ages. It's almost impossible to find Cardinals prospects with comps. I was going through this on Twitter today, Joe, and a couple of people, and fairly, were like, yeah, I remember, Dylan Carlson and Jordan Walker being highly rated and all that. And I made the point, like, they never did at any point what Rainel Rodriguez is doing this year in the minor leagues. This is Albert Pujols level stuff. Okay, so let me draw this out for you. Albert's only 1 season in the minor leagues. He only spent 1 year in the minor leagues. 1 year in the minor leagues at age 20. Posted a 920 OPS, which is amazing, and 19 home runs in 133 games. Most of that was A-ball and high A with 3 games at AAA at the end of the year. Okay? So that's pretty amazing, right? I mean, 900 OPS is elite. That power at that age in 133 games, amazing. Rainel Rodriguez is 19. So a year younger than Albert was in his only minor league season. 979 OPS, 23 home runs, so higher OPS, more home runs in 24 fewer games, with 75% of those games at AA as a 19-year-old, facing guys on average 5 years older than him. This is crazy talk.
It is. It is absolutely nuts, the things that he has done. And like you said, on an absolute heater right now. His OPS is like 1,400 in the month of August, which is like 17, 18 games.
14, like no players ever come close to that in a full season. Like, and again, it's just a month, but it's still like he should be a freshman in college, age-wise. And he's playing against 24 and 25-year-olds. That's the average age at AA, 24 to 25. So 5 years older than him, and it's like nothing in his way. And the only comp, really, since Albert is Oscar Taveras. Oscar had a year in 2012 at AA where he had a 953 OPS, 24 home runs. It was 15 more games than Rainel has played to this point. But it's a very similar season. But he was also a full calendar year older. So when you look at, like, I don't know that the Cardinals have ever had a 19-year-old do this, I guess is my point. That's crazy the way he's going. Now, the question's going to be, Joe, and I think this is a good question that we got. Let's see. Where is it? Here we go. This is from John. He said, any chance that Rainel could force his way into the everyday lineup the way Albert did? So going into next year. Yeah, there's a chance. I wouldn't predict it at this point, but yeah, there's a really good chance that if next season is at all normal come spring training, it wouldn't shock me if he makes the opening day roster.
Yeah, 100%.
I wouldn't predict it yet, but I would say it's not a shock at all if that happens. The question is, where's he going to play? Because he's a catcher. And by the way, Joe, the reports are good. The reports on his catching, he's pretty good. He's fine back there. I wonder, though, if they think about getting him out of there because of the bat. Not because of anything defensive, but like how many guys who hit like that can stay behind the plate and catch, and play and get 150, 155 games played, because that's a bat you want in every day.
Yep.
So is this the case where you end up pulling a Bryce Harper, who was a catcher when he was drafted, by the way? People may not remember that, but he was moved immediately to the outfield because they cared about the bat more than the glove. Is this a case where maybe he gets moved to another position? Not because of any defensive concerns, but because the bat's so good, you just want it in there every day, and you can't put a catcher in there every day.
And you're not lacking for catching depth in the organization right now.
That's true, right? That's a good point. Now, could it also be a thing where he maybe catches like Herrera does now, once or twice a week, maybe play some third and DH, and now you got a guy that can play 155 games and get that bat in there without too much wear and tear?
Yeah, certainly. I think that both of those things should be on the table.
I mean, I would hope, and I know they're looking at it. They're going to be creative in this, and most teams, when you're looking at a bat like this, are going to care a lot more about preserving the bat than about what position you play. That's not going to be the biggest concern. The biggest concern is, how do we keep this production in the lineup every day? And once you decide on that, then you can kind of move ahead.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question. That's what it's going to. That's going to trump where he plays for certain.
Yeah, and you love that bat behind the plate. It's valuable there, but does the offense become diminished at all with the physical nature of the position, with the mental approach that's necessary? I mean, all the meetings you got to go into, because all the time you spend in meetings with pitchers is time you're not hitting. It's time you're not working on the offensive side. So it's not just physical. It's physical. It's also a time constraint. And I don't know which way they're going to go there, but what I know is this. He's one of the most exciting players they've had in the minor leagues in the last 25 years. I mean, again, it's Albert, it's Oscar, and it's Rainel. Those are the only guys that have put up numbers like this that I could find. At the same age, right?
Right.
Joshua Baez is having an amazing year, right? 34 home runs at the time he's called up. Not with the strike zone discipline that Rodriguez has, not with the batting average that Rodriguez has, not with the on-base skill that he has, but certainly the power is there. But he's also, 23 years old. Big difference for a guy that's been in the system for, 6 years, as opposed to a guy who's been playing pro ball for 2.5 years?
It's fantastic. It really is exciting. And I think it points to, as we were just talking about, if you want to evaluate where this organization is at, that's the kind of things you should be looking at.
Yeah.
That's where your focus should be.
Yeah, completely agree. That's Joe Pott. He's in for Matt Pauley today. And, of course, pregame's coming up at 5:50. We've got one more bit of business to do here. So right after the news, we'll be getting into a few more things related to tonight's game and how in the world are they going to navigate a bullpen game tomorrow. Well, a lot of that could do with tonight. So we'll get back to the current events next up here on KMOX.
At 5:30, we've got sun. It is 90 downtown at the Arch. This update sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com.
Pancreatic cancer is one of the most difficult cancers to treat.
That's Washington University Siteman Cancer Center Dr. Mohammed Kushman, an oncologist who tells KMOX that I have a very promising new treatment that has FDA approval.
It's called daraxonrasib.
Tumor growth in most patients with pancreatic cancer is driven by a family of genes called RAS genes, and those are mutated in more than 90% of patients with pancreatic cancer. Daraxonrasib, the drug that's approved today, directly targets RAS proteins. Siteman Cancer Center was one of the sites that conducted the phase 3 clinical trial Resolute 302. And Dr. Kian Lim, he is the director of the GI oncology at WashU. He served as the principal investigator on this trial.
Dr. Cushman says patients with stage 4 pancreatic cancer who received one round of treatment of daraxonrasib survived 2 times longer than those treated with chemotherapy. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
Illinois will receive millions of dollars from Meta as part of the multi-state settlement related to the social media addiction lawsuit. Details from Carolina Garibay.
Meta has agreed to pay Illinois up to $768 million, ending the largest big tech settlement in history. It stems from a 2023 lawsuit led in part by Chicago Attorney General Kwame Raoul, along with other attorneys general.
In the lawsuit, we allege that Meta intentionally designed Facebook and Instagram to attract and ultimately addict child users, and Meta misled the public about the devastating mental health harms children could suffer from using Facebook and Instagram.
Raoul says the lawsuit also alleges that Meta violated the federal Children's Online Privacy Protection Act. In total, Meta is required to pay up to $17 billion to dozens of states, as well as add child safety measures to Facebook and Instagram platforms.
After decades of putting profits before the health and wellness of children, we are compelling Meta to put our children's safety and mental health at the forefront.
A Metro East industrial park experienced a chemical explosion today.
The explosion took place at the Eagle Industrial Park in Sauget, Illinois, drawing a large amount of first responders to the scene, but it was contained quickly. Now, I'm told by responding crews that there is no threat to the public. In fact, they didn't even shut down the road just outside of the industrial park, and that the hydrogen sulfide fumes have been cut off. Now, one person was transported to a nearby hospital, but that was only for precautionary reasons. No cause of the explosion has been given at this time. In Sauget, Illinois, Sean Malone, KMOX News.
From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk for tonight, winds turn to the northwest, clear sky, low 68. Northwest breeze for tomorrow, sunshine, high 88 degrees. Right now it's 90 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Pump up the volume. Business moves fast. Orders roll in, deadlines close in. When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Every package stays in our secure network from dock to door. And with nationwide reach, dependable tracking, and upfront affordable pricing, you get built-in peace of mind. You run the business. We run the routes. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to learn more.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the
things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu. My Computer Career, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
St. Louis isn't just where we play, it's who we are. When the Cardinals take on the Pirates on Friday, August 28th, fans 21 and older can take home an exclusive City Connect quarter zip pullover presented by Budweiser. Inspired by the city we love, this new addition to the City Connect collection is the perfect way to show off your Cardinals pride. Available in medium and extra large while supplies last. Get your tickets now at cardinals.com/promotions.
This is Alec Burleson. Get your tickets now at cardinals.com.
The hottest accessory at Busch Stadium this season is yours on Saturday, August 29th when the Cardinals host the Pirates. That day, fans will take home a stylish, stadium-approved Cardinals purse, courtesy of Edward Jones. From the ballpark to brunch, this is the on-the-go purse you'll be reaching for all season long. And there's only one place to get it, at Busch Stadium on August 29th. Get your tickets now at cardinals.com/promotion.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance. And now we're customizing this ad for your morning commute to wake you up, which could help your driving. Science says that stimulating the brain increases alertness. So here's a pop quiz. How many months have 28 days? What gets wetter as it dries? What has keys but can't open locks? If you don't want to hear the answers, turn off this Liberty Mutual ad now. 12 months, a towel, piano. Enjoy being fully alert.
Liberty, 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 liberty. Don't miss Mosby Building Arts Home Improvement Show, Saturdays from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on KMOX. One of the last call-in shows where you can get live answers to your remodeling, design, and construction questions. Tune in Saturdays at 11 a.m.
Want to make the most of your tax refund? File with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They help you get your biggest refund, and then we help you do more with it. With a personalized plan designed to help you hit your money goals. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
To have a roof over your head, a nice roof over your head, is very important.
That's Rick talking about his experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago, and they were very cooperative on getting us the right paint. They were in and out and done in no time. Once it was finished, looked great. We were very happy with it.
The main reason Rick called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by a 25-year transferable warranty.
We've watched a lot of people get their house painted 3 or 4 times, and we haven't had to do any of it. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to have to paint it every 5-7 years.
Take a tip from Rick and put down the paintbrush and call Rhino Shield for your free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago. Financially makes sense, especially if it's going to last like this did. Still looks great.
Call now. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com.
No paint, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance. And now we're customizing this rush hour ad to keep you calm, which could help your driving. And science says therapy is great for a healthy mindset. So enjoy this 14-second session on us. I think you've done everything right and absolutely nothing wrong. In fact, anything that hasn't gone your way could probably be blamed on your father not being emotionally available because his father wasn't emotionally available, and so on. And now that you're calm and healing, you're probably driving better too.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Taking care of your health shouldn't feel complicated. That's why we created NeoVitan to make nutrition easy. Our doctor-formulated vitamins are designed for real life and delivered straight to your door with our monthly subscription. No guesswork, no running out. Just clean, high-quality supplements manufactured in the USA using the finest domestic and international ingredients. Subscribe today at neovitan.com and take one simple step toward better daily nutrition. Visit neovitan.com and start making nutrition easy today.
America is turning 250 this year, and Circa Sports is celebrating by offering all users in Missouri $250. For everyone in Missouri, all you have to do is deposit $250 on your Circa Sports app, then play through that deposit. Once you do, Circa Sports will reward you with $250 right in your account. This is available for everyone in Missouri, new and existing users. Celebrate 250 years and find out more at circasports.com today. Must be 21 or older and in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Each week during the Redbird Rush Hour, we put a spotlight on someone who's making the community better using sports. It's building community with Busey Bank beyond the game. Join us this week for another story of someone who's finding a way to make a big impact on the community we all call home. Brought to you by Busey Bank.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM KMOX. Traffic from the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
Oh, Game Day Traffic is sponsored by the all-new St. Louis Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, your friends in the car business. If you're coming in for the ball game on eastbound 70, still a little slow, Earth City into 270. Have an incident at O'Fallon Park. There's a short jam just around the bend there. It's not even midway into Adelaide, so just a little bit of a backup right now. And then there's heavy traffic approaching Salisbury in through St. Louis Avenue. The ball game route eastbound 64, that's still pretty busy. East of Mason to 270, slowing from Spady all the way into Big Bend. You got delays. South 170 is bogging down at Delmar, and Illinois fans coming in on westbound 5570. You still have backed up stop-and-go pockets approaching 111 most of the way to 203. Eastbound 64 remains heavy, 157 to 159. In fact, it's pretty solid there. Westbound 64 Kings Highway headed out through Bellevue, slow, a little busy. Clarkson to Topgolf, still backed up from Lake St. Louis Boulevard out to 70. Southbound 270 Ladue, down through Manchester, then just a little slow past Gravois. Southbound 55, south of Butler Hill, approaching Merrimack Bottom, the heaviest part. Southbound Telegraph, south of 255, down through Baumgartner. Looks like there's a lot of congestion. We have a crash northbound Lindbergh reported at Patterson. I'm Roger Brand at the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
The back-to-school savings bash is at St. Louis Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Get a new 2026 Ram or Jeep for up to 15% off MSRP. It's part of the Make This the Summer event. Visit stl-cdjr.com for details.
For 261073, selling price $50,185 with approved credit, excludes tax, tag, title, and license fees. Ends 8/31/26.
It is 5:41 in downtown St. Louis, and the time check is brought to you by Paramount Men's Medical Center.
Now, back to the Redbird Rush Hour on KMOX.
Sponsored by Busey Bank. Building community with Busey Bank. Beyond the game.
All right, just a few minutes left on Redbird Rush Hour, and then my friend Joe Pott's got pregame coming up at 5:50. Joe pinch hitting for Matt Pauley tonight, and then 6:45 for the first pitch. Joe, we spent a little time in the fantasy future talking about Rainel Rodriguez in the last segment. We'll get back to the present time now, which is, again, it's not that terrible, but it's certainly also not great when you're in this position of having these rough days. And then when you look ahead, it's like, how are you going to get through this? Because really the trick is going to be, and it's not even a trick, unfortunately, the truth is going to be you're going to need a guy like Michael McGreevy pitching tonight, Palante when he comes back. You're just going to need those guys to pitch a lot of innings and give you quality outings because it's just going to be dicey outside of those guys.
It is, and especially when you're already limiting what Kyle Leahy,
Right. He's been great.
Get out of Kyle Leahy.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. But they're not going to wear him out because they don't want him to get hurt.
Yep.
And whatever's at stake for the next 5 weeks isn't worth him showing up in 2027 with a bum elbow.
Yeah, without a doubt. It goes right back to what you were talking about before. There might be options, but by using some of those options, you're hurting yourself in the long run.
Yeah, and look, the people there. I'm sure there are people that are like, this new pitch count stuff. Blah, blah. No. Like Dave Duncan used to talk about this. Dave Duncan would talk about this with young players and say, listen, the most you ever want someone's workload to increase from one year to the next is maybe 25, 30 innings. Now, there are exceptions. Like Leahy's not a young guy, right? He's in his late 20s, so you can give him more than that. But the point is, you always want to be careful. And this is Dave Duncan. Okay, this is an old school guy who played in the 60s and 70s. He is arguably the best pitching coach that's ever been on this planet. He's seen it all, been through it all, and that is a guy who even 20 years ago was talking about that. It's important if you want guys to stay healthy.
Yeah, exactly, because when they're not, then you're dealing with some of the things the Cardinals are dealing with now that they haven't had to deal with in the last couple of years.
Well, yeah, and you don't want these things to be the problems when you are starting to get better. And look, arm injuries are going to happen. We all get that. We just saw this. Like the Cardinals do a great job of taking care of guys. Well, Dobbins still got hurt, right? Palante still got hurt. It's going to happen. But you want to take every reasonable step to prevent it. If you were a team right now that was like battling the Brewers for first place, all right, maybe you push it. But you're not, so don't. Right? We don't
Easy. Right.
You don't want to push it for what is it now? a 3 or 4% chance of making the playoffs?
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, there is a time for that, and I get it. We're all impatient. We all want the same thing, man. Joe, you and Matt and I and Bernie, we're all fans of it too, just like everybody else. But you got to make sure that the common sense part wins out. And by the way, the Cardinals playoff chances today are 2.2%.
There you go.
On ESPN. There are different versions of that, but the ESPN version is that way. All right, Joe, we got to go, buddy. Guess what? That means you're on.
I'm happy to do it.
Have a good night. Here's to a
Good
short
hang,
game.
Kevin.
I always wish Matt a short game, so I'll wish you a short game as well. Have a good time.
Much appreciated.
All right. Joe Pott's in for Matt Pauley. Pregame next on KMOX.
Rich earth between your fingers, children learning in the garden, and a backyard you're proud to share. A spectacular summer landscape isn't just watered, it's nourished from the roots up. That's why